center. And there we can reflect. And reflecting means from there we have a connection to the floor, to our toes. And we experience our little toes maybe a little bit as if they would be our fellow beings. Huh? We have 10 little toes down there, and we just play a very little bit, just have a feeling, oh, okay, there is somebody. But we stay in the heart, and the gesture of the big E brings us into the heart and keeps us centered there. Maybe Adele wants to read this part, the first part of this text.
External actions. These should not be disturbing for our fellow human beings.
I move my toes, but I am here, I'm centered here, I'm not going down, but just I'm here in my heart and I notice what's going on down there. Now the first part begins, where Steiner speaks about where we are prompted by our conscience to act. And first thing is what we have to ask ourselves is, how big is our heart? And I would invite you to experiment a little bit, to bring your hands in front of your heart and just expand your arms a little bit. Be in your fingers, expand, yeah? And just by expanding it, we know this brings us into our center actually. And then very slowly we come in, and everything what we meet, we bring along with us, and we just go into our heart. It becomes smaller and smaller and smaller in order to go into this heart, into this heart. But what happens when it's really small? Does it become smaller and smaller? Or is there a turning point where the inner becomes big and bigger and bigger? Maybe as big as it was before when the arms were outside. Yeah? And this can become an experience that we can make the gesture close smaller and smaller and smaller. And then it's a point, we can't go further anymore. But suddenly an inner space starts to unfold. And I invite you to try to unfold the size of this inner space. Let's try it one more time. We just go out very gentle, lovingly. It's so beautiful out there, yeah? Nature, the richness everywhere. And then we just, from there we return to our heart. And we come home and go in and bend a little bit to walk through this little door. And then we go further and further, and we start to look around. And we notice it's becoming a big dome. Very big. Astonishingly tall. And then let go. If you have had this experience, if you could grasp it a little bit or imagine it a little bit, maybe you practice a little bit, then when you could imagine it is there. Maybe my heart is not that small. Maybe my heart is so big and full of light. Yeah? And that's what I think the first part is about. When we have, let's do it, when we do the first opening up, the external actions, yeah? And from there we arrive at our heart. Yeah, they should not be disturbing for our fellow human beings. And now I turn around and I invite you from there that you just open up and to sense into this big heart of yours. And from there you experience, oh, that's my heart. And in this big heart my conscience lives. And from there I bring it. And this space prompts me to action when I form my e-gesture. And let go.